Close your eyes for a moment and let the noise of your surroundings fade away. Imagine the heavy silence of a winter night, nearly 2,000 years ago. The air is cold, biting at the skin, and the only sound is the rhythmic patter of rain falling against thick canvas and the distant, rushing waters of the Danube River. Inside a dimly lit tent on the edge of the Roman Empire, a man sits alone. He is the most powerful man in the known world, the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, yet he is not sleeping on a bed of gold, nor is he resting in the comfort of a palace. He is tired. His body aches from years of campaigns. His lungs rattle with the damp cold. A single oil lamp flickers on his desk, casting long, dancing shadows against the fabric walls. He dips a stylus into ink and begins to write on a scroll of parchment. He is not writing a decree for his armies. He is not writing a speech for the Senate. He is writing a note to himself, trying to quiet the loud, anxious, and overwhelming voice in his own head. He writes because, just like you, he struggles. He writes because his mind is prone to overthinking, to replaying the insults of his enemies, to worrying about the wars of tomorrow, and to fearing the judgment of history. In this quiet moment, beneath the weight of the purple cloak, he is not just an emperor. He is a human being searching for peace in a chaotic world. And across the vast ocean of time, his voice speaks directly to you, to the part of you that lies awake at night staring at the ceiling, wondering if you are good enough, wondering what will happen next, wondering why you cannot simply shut off the stream of thoughts that floods your mind. Imagine him looking up from his parchment, his eyes weary but kind, meeting yours. He tells you that the turmoil you feel is not a defect. It is not a sickness. It is the nature of the human mind to wander, to worry, to dissect, and to amplify. But he also offers you a way out. He invites you into his tent, out of the storm, to sit by the fire and understand the nature of your own thoughts. He begins by asking you to consider the weight you are carrying right now. Not the physical weight of your body, but the invisible burden pressing down on your chest. It is the weight of what if. What if I fail? What if they didn't like what I said? What if the future is not what I planned? Marcus lived in a time of plague, betrayal, and constant warfare, yet he wrote that the things that trouble us are rarely the events themselves, but rather our judgments about them. Think about the conversation you replayed in your head 10 times today. You analyzed the tone of voice, the pause, the specific words used. You created a narrative, a story in which you were perhaps foolish or misunderstood or judged. But Marcus would ask you, where does that story exist? It does not exist in the physical world. It exists only in the theater of your mind. You are suffering more in imagination than in reality. The event itself, the words spoken, was brief and is now gone. It is dead. It belongs to the past. But you keep resurrecting it, breathing life into a ghost, allowing it to haunt you. You are like a man who walks into a dungeon and locks the door from the inside, terrified of the darkness he himself created. Marcus gently reminds you that you hold the key. You have always held the key. The power to revoke your judgment, to say, this does not matter, to strip the event of the terrifying story you'd have wrapped around it, is yours. Consider the anxiety you feel about the future. You look ahead and see a landscape filled with fog. You try to predict every obstacle, every pitfall, every possible outcome. You think that if you just think hard enough, if you just worry enough, you can control what is to come. But this is the great illusion of the overthinker. We believe that worry is a form of preparation. We believe that if we suffer in advance, the blow will be softer when it lands. Marcus shakes his head. He spent his life on battlefields, facing armies that wanted to destroy him. He knew that no amount of late-night worrying would change the flight of an arrow or the strategy of a barbarian king. He tells you that the future is not a burden for you to carry today. The present moment is heavy enough on its own. Why add the weight of 1,000 tomorrows to it?
When you borrow trouble from the future, you are paying interest on a debt that may never come due. The disaster you fear might never happen. And even if it does, Marcus assures you, you will face it with the same weapons of reason and resilience that you possess right now. You are afraid that you will not be able to handle it, but look at your life. Look at the difficulties you have already navigated. You have survived every bad day you have ever had. You are stronger than your anxiety gives you credit for. The Emperor whispers to you that you must build a citadel within yourself, a fortress of the mind. When the world is loud, when the demands of work and family and society are screaming for your attention, you have the right to retreat into this little territory of your own, not to escape reality, but to regain your footing, to remind yourself that while you cannot control the winds, you can adjust your sails. There is a profound freedom in understanding the difference between what is up to us and what is not. This is the cornerstone of the peace you seek. You overthink because you are trying to control the uncontrollable. You want to control what others think of you. You want to control the outcome of a project. You want to control how you are perceived. But these things are not yours to command. They are like leaves caught in a river. The current takes them where it will. When you tie your happiness to things outside of your control, you become a slave. You become a slave to the opinion of a stranger, a slave to the mood of a boss, a slave to the fluctuating numbers in a bank account. Marcus, the ruler of the world, constantly reminded himself that he could not control the weather, the harvest, or the loyalty of his generals. He could only control his own mind, his own actions, and his own character. Imagine the relief of letting go. Visualize yourself standing on the bank of a rushing river. All those worries, the need for approval, the fear of rejection, the obsession with perfection are heavy stones in your hands. You have been carrying them for miles and your arms are trembling. Marcus invites you to simply open your hands. Let the stones fall into the water. Watch them sink. The river flows on and you remain. You are lighter. You are not responsible for how the world receives you. You are only responsible for how you present yourself. If you speak with truth, if you act with kindness, if you try your best, you have done your part. The rest is smoke.
But the mind is tricky. It loves to pull us back into the past. It loves to replay our mistakes, our embarrassments, the moments where we wish we had been smarter, bolder, or better. You lay in bed and cringe at a memory from 5 years ago. You feel the heat rise in your cheeks as if it is happening right now. Marcus knew this feeling. He made mistakes. He trusted the wrong people. He lost battles. But he looked at the past with the eyes of a realist. The past is unchangeable. It has been written in stone. To fight against it, to agonize over it, is to argue with reality. It is a form of madness to wish that what has happened had not happened. Instead, he practiced Amor Fati, a love of fate. Not just accepting what happened, but embracing it as the fuel for who you are today. Every mistake you have made has taught you something. Every awkward moment has humbled you. Every failure has carved a deeper capacity for resilience within you. If you remove those moments, you unravel the tapestry of your identity. So when the memory of a past error rises up to choke you, do not fight it. Do not push it away. Acknowledge it. Nod to it like an old teacher. Say, "I learned from you," and then gently turn your gaze back to the present. The present is the only place where you can live. It is the only place where you have power. Overthinking is the thief of the present. It steals the taste of your food, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the beauty of the face of the person sitting across from you. You are physically here, but mentally you are wandering in the graveyard of the past or the haunted house of the future. Come back. Come back to the sensation of your breath. Come back to the feeling of your feet on the ground. There is also the fear of judgment, the clatter of tongues, as Marcus called it. We live in an age where the opinions of others feel louder than ever. We feel watched, measured, and evaluated. We curate our lives to be liked, and we agonize when we are misunderstood. Marcus was the most famous man in the world, yet he constantly reminded himself of the insignificance of fame. He looked at the stars, he thought about the vastness of the universe and the infinite stretch of time. He realized that soon, very soon, he would be forgotten, and so would those who praised him, and so would those who criticized him. All of it, the applause, the booing, the whispers, would be swallowed by the silence of eternity. This is not meant to depress you, it is meant to liberate you. If your life is but a spark in the darkness of time, why spend it worrying about the opinions of people who are just as lost and confused as you are? Why let the fear of what they will say stop you from living your truth? They are just people. They are consumed by their own worries, their own insecurities, their own overthinking. They are not thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. And even if they are, their opinions are merely thoughts in their heads, invisible and powerless unless you grant them power. You are an emerald, Marcus says. Does an emerald lose its quality if no one praises it? Does it stop being green? Does it stop being beautiful? No, it remains what it is. You are what you are. Praise does not make you better, and insults do not make you worse. Your worth is intrinsic, rooted in your character and your capacity for reason.
Let us go deeper into the silence of the tent. The candle has burned low and the shadows have lengthened. Marcus looks at the scroll where he has written about the shortness of life. Memento Mori. Remember that you will die. To the overthinking mind, death can be a terrifying concept, a source of ultimate anxiety. But to the Stoic, it is the ultimate clarifier. It is the sun that burns away the fog of trivial worries. When you remember that your time here is finite, that this specific day, this specific hour will never come again, the things you are stressing about suddenly reveal their true size. Ask yourself, in the final hour of my life, will I regret that I didn't worry more? Will I wish I had spent more sleepless nights stressing about a presentation or an awkward text message? No. You will wish you had tasted the air more deeply. You will wish you had loved more freely. You will wish you had been more present. Death puts everything in perspective. It tells you that you do not have time to be miserable. You do not have time to be at war with yourself. You only have time to live. So when a worry arises, hold it up against the backdrop of your mortality. Does it still look so big, or does it shrink into a speck of dust? The path away from overthinking is not a sprint. It is a gentle walk. It requires patience. You have spent years training your brain to analyze, to worry, to predict. You cannot expect it to stop overnight. Be kind to yourself. When you catch yourself spiraling, do not be angry. Do not say, "There I go again, I am so weak." That is just more overthinking. Instead, treat your mind like a young child that has wandered off. Gently, without judgment, take it by the hand and lead it back to the center, back to the breath, back to what is real. Imagine your thoughts as clouds passing across a blue sky. You are not the clouds. You are the sky. The clouds can be dark, storm-filled, and turbulent. They can obscure the sun, but they are not permanent. They drift in, and if you watch them without trying to grab them, they will drift out. You are the vast open space behind them. The overthinker thinks they are the storm. The philosopher knows they are the observer of the storm. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayals that would break most men. His brother by adoption passed away. His wife died. He saw his children die. He saw his empire ravaged by plague. He had every reason to crumble, to let his mind be consumed by grief and panic.
but he found a way to stand upright. He found a way to turn his obstacles into the way forward. He realized that the mind adapts to what it dwells upon. If you dwell on fear, your mind becomes fearful. If you dwell on resentment, your mind becomes bitter. But if you dwell on strength, on gratitude, on the present moment, your mind becomes a sanctuary. He would tell you to look for the beauty in the ordinary. The overthinking mind is often obsessed with the extraordinary, the big success, the big failure, the dramatic turning point. But life is made of small moments. The warmth of a cup of tea, the sound of a bird in the morning, the feeling of clean sheets. These are the anchors. When your mind tries to fly away into the terrifying abstract, grab onto the concrete. Touch something, smell something. Grounding yourself in the physical world is the antidote to the poison of the abstract. As the night in the tent turns toward dawn, the rain begins to soften. The first gray light of morning touches the horizon. Marcus puts down his pen. He has not solved all the problems of the empire. The wars are still there, the plague is still there, but he is ready. He has tidied the house of his mind. He has separated the essential from the trivial. He has accepted what he cannot change and resolved to act on what he can. He stands up, wraps his cloak around him, and prepares to step out into the world. He invites you to do the same. You have spent enough time in the dark, wrestling with shadows. It is time to step out. It is time to trust yourself. You are capable of handling whatever comes. You are part of nature, and nature does not make mistakes. You have a role to play, and you cannot play it if you are paralyzed by the script. Tear up the script of what if, and start improvising the reality of what is. The peace you are looking for is not in a different job, a different relationship, or a different life. It is not in the future, and it is certainly not in the past. It is right here. It is in the space between your thoughts. It is in the silence you can create, even for a second, amidst the noise. You have the power to retreat into yourself and find that you are whole, that you are safe, and that you are enough. You are not alone in this struggle. Every human being who has ever lived, from the emperor in his tent to the person listening to this right now, has fought this battle. It is the battle for your own soul, for your own peace of mind. And it is a battle you can win, not by fighting hard, but by letting go, by breathing, by trusting. If this journey into the past has quieted the noise in your mind even for a moment, then you have already taken the first step. The wisdom of the Stoics is not just history, it is a living, breathing practice. It is a community of souls seeking clarity in a confused world. If you wish to continue walking this path, to find strength in the ancient ways and apply them to your modern life, I invite you to join us. Subscribe to Wisdom of Stoic. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us what burden you are choosing to put down today. Share this with someone you know who carries the weight of the world on their shoulders. Let us build a citadel of wisdom together, one stone, one breath, one moment at a time. The sun is rising now. The mist is clearing. The day is yours, not to worry about, but to live. Step forward, be calm, be strong, be present.